Last thing for you, Mr. Marceau, Crown Jewel predictions for Saturday afternoon. It is airing at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I love the Saturday afternoon pay-per-views. Wish they would do more of them. And we might be in 2024 if we're getting in a Paris pay-per-view potentially. We're getting the Berlin show. Sounds like we're getting more, Saturday afternoon shows, which is a big plus on my book. But on the kickoff show, we're getting Sami Zayn against JD McDonough. They never do kickoff shows kickoff matches anymore, which is great. We don't need them; they're pointless. But I will say this isn't good enough to be on the main card, especially since we've already seen it twice on Raw. I think they've split wins. But I think they're doing this because Sami Zayn, before, he may have been on the first one, but before that last pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia, Night of Champions, he hadn't been on a Saudi show in at least 5 years, if not ever, because of the whole, politics and stuff with Saudi Arabia and Syrian people, I think was the whole reason for it. But he went back in May, and they loved him, and he got a great reaction. So I think they're just bringing him in because the crowd loves him, and they want to put him on the pre-show, and he's already feuding with Judgment Day. Not a big storyline, significant match, but it is what it is. Safe to say Sami Zayn wins here, though, right?
Yeah, I would say Sami wins here, like you said. I actually don't mind the pre-show matches. I think it's nice to kind of get in one match before the main show.
Okay.
But I think this is the perfect candidate for, like you said, a pre-show match. Doesn't really belong on the main show, but it has some kind of storyline significance. So I kind of like it on the pre-show, honestly.
Maybe people would have complained about this being on the pre-show. I think it would have been cool if Sami Zayn faced Finn Balor. I don't know if they've had a match that was very brief. It might have been on SmackDown 2 years ago, but they haven't had a real match lately. They're both great, two great NXT champions, two great NXT pillars. I think that might have been too big for the pre-show, though. We've just seen Sami Zayn and JD McDonough before, which is why this isn't really interesting to me. But maybe Balor and Zayn was too big for the pre-show. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I think just doing, like I said, maybe it's more just to get Zayn on the show because they have such a good, he gets over, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's fine. Speaking of the Judgment Day stuff, Damian Priest, not Finn Balor, facing Cody Rhodes. Again, I think they're doing this. Finn Balor and Cody on paper is kind of the more appealing matchup, but two things. One, Damian Priest is Mr. Money in the Bank. If they really want him to be taken seriously as a potential world champion or championship contender at some point, he's got to have big pay-per-view matches, even though I don't think he's winning this one. And two, we've seen Cody and Finn a lot this year. They've already done the match 3 or 4 times. We've seen Cody and Damian before one-on-one, but maybe only once on Raw a few months ago, so it's been a bit. So I'm fine with them doing this match. The final sell for the match on Raw this week I thought was well done, the fiery babyface promo from Cody, but I don't think that puts the outcome in any real doubt. I still think Cody Rhodes wins decisively here. What do you say?
Yeah, I think Cody wins here. I feel like Priest has the briefcase, or he has the out to lose. But no, I think it'll be a really good match. Like you said, I think we've seen Cody and Finn 1,000 times, so I guess it's a little bit different with Damian. But I think Cody wins here. I don't see Priest beating him.
That's why I think the Money in the Bank briefcase isn't on the line, because he's not winning the match. Damian Priest, that is. And I don't want Cody Rhodes as Mr. Money in the Bank anyway. I think it completely renders the Money in the Bank briefcase irrelevant. They've done that before, where they've given it to people, Kennedy won the match and Edge won the briefcase, and they did it with Otis and Miz. But, Otis was a mistake. He should have never won the briefcase in the first place. Damian Priest, is fine, and Kennedy was a whole other issue. But Priest is fine as a Mr. Money in the Bank contender. And if you wanted Cody to win it, then he should have won it months ago, but he didn't. So I'm fine with this not being for the briefcase. It feels like a Raw match, but it should be good. WWE Women's Championship. We found out about this on SmackDown last week. Io Sky versus Bianca Belair in a rematch from Backlash in Puerto Rico earlier this year. A great match. Bianca won that one. They're running it back here. Who do you say goes over?
I think Io should win here. I'd keep the belt on her longer. I think she's had a really good reign. I really don't want them to put the belt back on Belair.
Or Charlotte.
Not that she is this, territory, but she's starting to creep into Charlotte territory. I just feel like she's always contending for the belt. I think keeping on Io here, who's had a really good reign, I just don't want to see her lose it so quickly. I like what she's doing on SmackDown. She's had some really, really good matches. And like I said, I don't really want Belair to get kind of another title run just so we get another... Like I said, she's getting into Charlotte territory at this point, so I prefer her not to win the belt here.
I don't think it gets talked about enough, this reign for Io Sky as the WWE Women's Champion. She's had a lot of really good matches. She had a title match on SmackDown. I think that Bray Wyatt tribute show that people forget about with Zelina Vega, actually, because Vega beat her before SummerSlam. They had a good match on that show. The match with Asuka on SmackDown was great. The three-way at Fastlane was good. And she even had a really good match with Charlotte in the main event a couple weeks ago when Bianca came back. I don't think this is any exception. Bianca beat her at Backlash, like I said. She gets the win back here. Do you think maybe... I do want Bianca out of the title picture, I agree. Same thing with Charlotte. And Charlotte might factor into the finish, and maybe we get Bianca and Charlotte coming out of this, which would be great. Do you think after Io now has conquered Asuka, she's conquered Bianca and Charlotte, the three biggest names on the roster, what more do you do with her? Enter Kairi Sane, maybe? Do you think that's maybe, we heard that Kairi Sane earlier today per WrestleVotes back in the internal roster. Do you think we see her maybe next in line for Io Sky, which would be awesome because they have history from NXT from many years ago?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's too early to do Io and Bayley just yet. I think you honestly flushed out even longer. But no, I think that's a good new challenger. Like I said, I don't want it to be Bianca. I don't want Charlotte. I like Bianca a lot. I just feel like she's just been in my face so much with championship gold around her waist. I feel like we need to flesh it out, and make new stars. So I think Io holding, like I said, I think underrated championship reign. I mean, She's had a lot of good matches. I feel like no one's talking about it. But no, I think her versus Kairi would be nice. Like I said, they do have some history, and I think it's nice. I will say the one thing about Sky I don't like, it's like she is aligned with Damage Control, but she's not really a heel. So I get she's in the heel faction, but I kind of wish she was either a heel or like she doesn't cheat to win. Like kind of wish they did kind of give her a more defined role because she's kind of like a babyface wrestler in a heel group. But besides that, I think her and Zayn would be a nice transition to the next kind of feud.
Yeah, maybe at some point. I don't know if Bayley turns on They gotta break up Damage Control. I know Dakota Kai's hurt, so they can't really do anything with her because she can't get physical right now. She might be. I don't know how much longer she's going to be out hurt for, but with Io though, I don't know if Bayley cost her the championship or she turns on her because she wants a title shot. I mean, we're getting Io and Bayley at some point. I'm skeptical of like them doing a regular women's match at Mania that's not for a championship. I just don't think they'll do that. I know people say, oh, that would be a great non-title feud for Mania or a Damage Control triple threat a la Legacy at WrestleMania 26. Maybe I don't see them doing that, but I'm curious to see how that kind of unfolds in the coming months. Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley defending against Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Zoe Stark, and Raquel Rodriguez. A lot of names here, Mr. Marcel. I'll throw it to you first. Who do you think goes over?
Rhea Ripley, LOL. Easiest match on the card to predict. I don't think Mommy's losing here. She's always on top anyways. But like besides Stark, I don't even think I'd want any of them currently to win the belt anyways. Nia, no thank you. Shayna, no thank you. Raquel, still terrible as a babyface. Stark, I feel like she does need more seasoning, but I think Mommy wins here, and I honestly have no idea what you do with her next. I mean, she's wiping out 4 other women here.
Yeah, she's already beaten Raquel twice.
They're kind of spinning her. I feel like this match alone just spinning wheels with Rhea right now on Raw, so I don't really know what you do next, but I think Rhea wins.
Yeah, I think so too. The match should be fine. We've already seen her beat Raquel twice, so I wouldn't go back to that, even if she doesn't get pinned. I think it's pretty clear we're headed towards Rhea and Becky at Mania, but what do you do to kill the time with the two of them before then is the question. So, I don't know. Maybe her and Nia, I have no interest in that. And Nia's a heel anyway, so just an option. I don't want to see that, but I feel like that might be what they do. Either way, I think Rhea Ripley retains here. John Cena Solo Sikoa. John Cena almost in tears last Friday on SmackDown, talking about, if I lose this match, I might lose the respect of the WWE Universe. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I mean, I love John Cena. I've enjoyed this recent SmackDown stint that he's had, but this nonsense that if he loses, his career is over is comical. Like, he's only just now bringing up the fact he didn't realize this 2-3 years ago that he hasn't won a singles match in over 5 years. Like, come on, man, over 2,000 days. I think that alone means that he wins here. I don't want him to. Solo's taken a couple L's this year already. He doesn't need to go undefeated, but like, he doesn't. Listen, you can also make the argument, what does beating John Cena even mean? Theory did earlier this year, it meant nothing. Yeah, because the follow-up sucked. The match wasn't great either. It was good, it was fine, but the follow-up sucked, and Theory could have benefited had they capitalized, and they didn't. I think they can capitalize with Solo, because Solo's in a far better spot than Austin Theory ever was. I would have Solo win, But I think Cena hasn't won in 5 years, and they're telling that story for a reason. I think, going back to the old adage, Cena wins, LOL. Who do you think goes over here, Mr. Marceau?
I think Cena goes over, but Solo should win. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like Cena. I just like Cena. Like you said, he just realized he can't win. I just also, like you pointed out, like Solo has lost a handful of times this year. Like you said, doesn't need to go undefeated, but I feel like he could use like a nice big win. And I mean, like you said, Cena hasn't won in years, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's still John F. and Cena. Mm-hmm. So I think realistically, Solo should win. Like I said, he's lost a few matches this year. He lost to Jay. He lost to Cody. He lost to LA Knight.
Yep.
I think he could use a big win. Like I said, I think honestly, just have Cena beat like Jimmy. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like I'd rather Jimmy lose to Cena than Solo. But
oh yeah,
I mean, I think Cena wins LOL, but I think Solo could use the win more.
Definitely. I mean, he's not buried if he loses here. I do think Solo should win. I don't think he will win. You know, whatever. He's not going to be done, but I just would have Solo win. And this is it for Cena, too. I think he should go out with a loss, but that's just me. I know, again, he doesn't wrestle a lot anymore, and he hasn't wrestled a singles match in a while since Mania, and he lost that one. I get it. You need to have Cena win matches, but I wouldn't have it come at the expense, personally, of Solo Sikoa. United States Championship, Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul. I think it's safe to say we're getting a new United States champion on this show. What I feared for is Logan Paul not showing up. I not even fear for, I just full out expect it, that we're not going to have a full-time United States champion. That's a bummer. I do think, I like Logan Paul as champion. I think it might be, I say it's too soon. They just haven't really overly teased it lately. Like Santos costing Rey the title, I do think that would work. I don't know if they do that on this show. But I do think Logan Paul, regardless, maybe even clean, walks out the new United States champion. What do you think?
Forgot this match was on the card. This is the most predictable match. Logan Paul wins clean as a whistle. I mean, I could bet my whole life savings that he's going to win this match. I don't love, like I said, I don't love if he wins. And I don't think he's going to show up every week, and that just gives another champion on SmackDown just not being on the show. I guess Fox doesn't care. But I mean, realistically, I just think Logan should win. I like Rey. I don't think he really needs the belt. The whole Santos thing, I mean, I think the turn's coming eventually. I don't think he's going to get cost here. I think it's more like I never got my title opportunity. I don't think he even faced. I thought he was supposed to face. Did he ever get that rematch with Rey Santos? I thought he was supposed to.
Yeah, he did. They did the match on SmackDown, and Rey won, and he kind of won, not in fluky fashion, but he kind of like rolled him up, and Santos kind of sat there. Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think he's going to cost Rey the match here. But I mean, the turn is imminent. I think it needs to happen. I mean, him as a babyface to me reminds me a lot of Raquel as a babyface, just not overly interesting. Mm-hmm. So I think Logan wins. SmackDown doesn't care they have any regular champions on the market, and Logan Paul wins, and then we eventually get the Santos-Rey feud.
Yeah, I think we also get Logan Paul and LA Knight eventually, and Logan Paul, which they teased on SmackDown, I think last week or the week before, Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens. They teased that backstage at SmackDown. I think that might be the Rumble match. We're not going to have an active champion until then, but that's the spot that we find ourselves in. For the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. I didn't talk about this earlier, but I will mention it now. The video package they did for McIntyre on Raw was my favorite part of the show. I thought it was fantastic, talking about, you know, he's mentioned before, I won the title during COVID, how heroic, but they're putting a new spin on it because, like, there was no one there to celebrate with him, and he got fucked out of the title rematch in his hometown at Clash of the Castle. And now it's kind of making him look petty, especially when you have Rollins out there saying, listen, you complain about not getting a wrestling championship. Like, there were people that died during COVID. Why would I feel bad for you? I love this. I've enjoyed the build. Rollins, when he's serious, is money. The clown crap is awful. But, you know, Rollins in the ring is great. Rollins, when he's serious, is great. McIntyre's been great, period. The whole character arc with him has been awesome. I think the match will deliver. I like this a lot. Rewatch the video package. If you missed it, it was excellent. But I will throw it to you, Mr. Marceau, for the official prediction because, you know, this is probably the more unpredictable match on the show. What do you think?
I was going to say, this is the most unpredictable match on the show. Like I said, I like what they're doing with Drew. Rollins, like you said, when serious, is really good. So guess what? Go back to it because the clown stuff is terrible.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I I think this is another case of what I said with Solo and Cena. I want Drew to win. I think it's not. It would be nice for him to win. Raw needs more heels. I feel like Rollins and Chase would be nice. Maybe get some more serious. Get rid of the fucking freaking stuff and get more serious. Which, like I said, in serious stuff, he's amazing, and which I just wish he'd go back to. But I just feel like there's just still milking the whole woeing and the whole shit. So unfortunately, I think Rollins wins here. I want Drew to win, but I think Rollins retains.
Yeah, I think Rollins retains. I think another loss for McIntyre could further drive him off the edge, though, to be fair. So I don't know if we get the heel turn on this show specifically. It could be Raw. It could be Survivor Series. Maybe they team up and he turns on him there. I don't know. I would like to see more from them, though. I do. I would like to see maybe even McIntyre take the title in a rematch after turning heel. I'm looking forward to this, though. Again, not only for the story, but the match itself should be great. I do think Rollins retains. But the undisputed main event of the show is for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. I mean, you mentioned already twice, this is the most predictable match in the show, as far as other matches. This also, the entire card is pretty predictable, but, you know, there's a lot of good matches, so it is what it is. But Roman Reigns defending against L.A. Knight. Now, does L.A. Knight have a single shot in hell of winning the championship here, Mr. Marceau? Could we see an upset, or do you think Roman Reigns retains LOL? And if so, I mean, that's a pretty obvious answer. But, like, how do you see this playing out? Does LA Knight look good in defeat, which we joke about, like, means nothing. But I think here it could mean something. He's been so hot lately. They've done everything right with him going into this pay-per-view. A loss won't kill him, but it's all about it's all a matter of how they follow it up. So how do you see this playing out? Who do you see going over?
Honestly, totally forgot this match was on the card.
What?
I know.
Wow.
Honestly, Roman's going to win LOL. I mean, I have a better chance of going to the moon tomorrow than LA Knight winning here. Honestly, I mean, like I said, I think he loses. You can say, like, looks good in defeat, whatever. Honestly, just give me him putting Roman in the BFT and then Solo hitting him with a spike a la WrestleMania, and I'll just be happy. So, Roman wins. Awful. I want that finish just to see the internet melt. I mean, I think LA Knight could lose in 2 seconds, and I don't think he'd be buried. I mean, he's just so over. But if you wanted an actual finish, that's what I want. The BFT, as he's about to hit it, Solo spike, internet cries, Roman wins, we move on.
In all seriousness, though, what is worse if they do that, which is such an unoriginal finish, and they run it back again? But what's worse, though, they do that again for the millionth time, or Roman just wins clean?
Roman beating him clean, I feel, is worse.
It is, I think, because, I mean, we complain about all this interference, but, like, I just feel like if Roman has to cheat to beat all these other people, but he doesn't have to cheat to be the biggest babyface in the company, I just don't think is a great endorsement of Knight. Like, I know we complain about the interference, and rightfully so, and it's not creative at all, because we've seen it so often for 3 years now, but I just feel like it makes sense, because I don't want LA Knight taking the clean loss. He would be fine, but I just don't know if it sends the best message.
No, I completely agree. Like I said, I literally, to this point, just think it's going to happen, like the interference. I wish it was more creative, like you said. I feel it's, like you said, Solo hits him with a spike, Roman Spear, LOL, he wins every time, but... Yeah. I mean, maybe Solo tries to help, and, like, we get Cena out there, and, like, it's just more pandemonium than more, like, just, like, that kind of same finish they use, and maybe Jimmy uses a hot route audible and somehow helps Roman win. But, I mean, Roman's winning. There will be interference. Like I said, I think I'm just more spiting it. I think it would be funny if they did the WrestleMania finish, and then people would cry on Twitter, just for my enjoyment.
Hey, me too. I'd be one of them. You can keep an eye out for my tweet when that happens. Like at Mania, when it happened with Cody, and then you texted me right after, as you said you would. You lived up to your word. Roman's going to win, LOL. Same thing on Saturday. So, do you think the match is going to be good? That's another hot topic, too, because, like, LA Knight's not Bret Hart in the ring. Neither is Roman Reigns. And they're not even hit or miss, because I feel like even the fact alone that Roman's been champion for so long, you know he's probably not losing, but I say probably, you don't know. Like, I think he's losing it at Mania, but there's always the chance that they pull a shocking upset, and that little doubt alone makes those near falls great, especially with someone as over as LA Knight. I'm not saying it's the same match, but I feel like this kind of gives me Rock and Hogan vibes from 18, where, like, the crowd alone will carry the match more than anything they'll actually do in the ring.
No, that sounds about right.
I think the match will be a lot of fun. I mean, if it's a dud, it's a dud, but I think they would go in there and have a pretty fun match, and the crowd is over behind LA Knight enough where it's going to make it a fun match, more than him doing a, tope suicida or Roman Reigns doing a sharpshooter or something like that. So, we'll see. I'm looking forward to the match. I'm looking forward to the show. It's going to be a fun time on Saturday afternoon. Crown Jewel